Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today for this session of the Volley 15. We do have an exciting call lined up here for you. Liza is going to walk us through the new version of the campaign attempt management screen. And I have heard it said that a lot of the things that might have been more cumbersome before will be a lot easier, and there's a lot more that you can do. And we're pretty excited to get this shown off here, especially because it's a screen that we know a lot of you are using pretty much every day to manage the stores. So, Liza, you got anything to say otherwise? If not, let's kick it off.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jake.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Um, and we'll show you guys the new layout. So yes, I'm just going to reiterate before I click share here. Today we're talking about the campaign attempt management screen. So when I click share, you're going to see the new kind of updated layout for
Liza, if I could you pull up the old screen first so people can make sure everyone knows what we're talking about?
You bet. Give me 2 seconds. This screen is in the app today. If you use the left-hand menu, it is under management. So let me pull myself over here. Okay, here's, you know,
Hmm.
regular as it sits today, Volley. If I use my left-hand menu, I go to management, campaign attempt management. This is the old screen. One of our beefs with the old screen, it takes a second to load if you have a lot of campaigns in here. But this is the green and red screen. I believe I'm in an account with activity. So there it is. Okay, so this is I a lot of times refer to this as the green and red screen. This is the screen that a lot of managers use to turn on and off outbound calls at the attempt level for different campaigns. So yes, this is our old version. The new version, similar layout. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Similar layout. One thing I want to point out for people who, are anxious to get in here and start using it, when you land on this page, the view is almost identical to what you have today. So if I flip back and forth again, really, the only difference here is the order of some of these columns. So in my old screen, I have organization name and then campaign name, versus in my new screen, I have campaign and then organization. If that's going to throw you off and you're not ready to, dive into new stuff quite yet, you can actually flip that back to, the same as it is ordered in the old screen. If you just click on this settings icon, um, this first checkbox here where it says group by column is sticky. If I uncheck that and say save, now it looks really exactly like the old screen as far as order of those columns. But I'll tell you, I think you guys are going to want to have that box checked because having this column sticky is helpful when you scroll over to the right, which is awesome. So our old screen capped out after 6 attempts. You guys are familiar, it would say 6+ attempts, and you couldn't see beyond that. In this new screen, as many attempts as you have, it will be that many columns wide, kind of thing. So you can see the distribution of your call attempts across every single attempt that you have allotted for a particular campaign. So that's cool thing number one. That's more visibility than we've ever had. Additionally, this screen is showing us different communication types. So the old screen was really built specifically just for phone campaigns. On this new screen, I can see my email, my SMS campaigns. I've got more visibility there as well. Still the same ability to check these boxes or click on these boxes to turn that attempt red. And it's the same as the old screen. So if a box is red, that means that those outbound phone attempts are paused. Those attempts would not be served to your team in the communication center. versus green is go. Green means that those attempts, when they come up per their priority, blah, 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 those attempts would be served automatically to your team. Same functionality again. If I click on this total number, I can do a deeper dive into this campaign and into the settings for this campaign. At the top of my screen, if I wanted to, I can remove customers, remove all of the customers at a specific attempt level. So if I wanted, for example, if I wanted to remove all of the customers in attempt 1, I can click on that box and I can mass expire any customers in that attempt. Beneath that, I've got the list of customers that are in my queue. Same ability here. If I want to expire individual customers from my list, I can do that using the red trash can on the far left. I'm going to say one more thing that's familiar and then we'll get to new stuff. In the middle of my screen, these are some of the same options that I am familiar with in this screen, and then some pulled in functionality from another management screen that you guys may be using outside of the attempt management. So in this middle section, I've got my attempt order and my added order. These settings dictate, okay, so if I've got 141 records in this campaign, in what order should those 141 customers come up for my team? So attempt order, typically we recommend lowest to highest. That means every customer will be called once before we start making a second pass, before we start doing second attempts, third attempts. If I had that flipped, then my person who's way out here on attempt number 4, they would come up out of the queue first. Then I've got 0 in third attempt. It would work its way back toward my first attempt. Typically recommend lowest to highest. This other option, added order, first in, first out, means oldest records out of the queue first, versus last in, first out are your freshest records. Your freshest enrollments will be served up first. That's all familiar. You've also got this box here. If you needed to send all of the inbound calls to voicemail for this campaign, you can do that here. And then the eligible to dial. Sometimes this, if you're using budgets, this would get flipped. The campaign is made ineligible to dial if you've hit your budget for the day for that campaign. This is where you can come to toggle that campaign back on if your budget has been met. Okay, I'm going to keep rolling and show you guys some new stuff. So hopefully everybody says, yep, I know how to do exactly what I'm doing today. When this screen goes live, I understand it's, it's got the same functionality that I know and love already. So now I'll take a couple of minutes and talk to you about new stuff. In this customer list, so the queue at the bottom of my campaign, I've got a message icon and an email icon, as well as a customer profile icon. So if I needed to, for whatever reason, as a manager, I can click on these icons and I can pull up a text thread, an email thread, or the customer's profile just by clicking on those buttons there. So it's kind of a quick access if you needed to send a text, send an email, or open the customer's profile. If the customer has an unresponded to text or email, you will get a beacon here as well, similar to in the call screen in the communication center, where you've got that red beacon. You'll see the same thing here in this management screen if there's an unresponded to message. Okay. I'm going to back out to our main kind of search menu. There's one other thing I want to show, and then leave some time for questions, I hope. So filters on the left-hand side. I want to call attention to the group by. This is where I think we're going to have major time savings. A lot of times, if you're a group, you may say, I need to pause all outbound calls for one particular store. So then you're going through and you're checking, all of these boxes for every campaign that you're running for that particular store. This is going to save you time. Group by campaign is displaying every single individual campaign, but I can change this to group by organization. Now I've got all of my campaigns for my particular store. And if I want to, I can pause those attempts across the entire organization just by clicking through the attempts here. So I'm managing actually 15 campaigns just by clicking that box. There's other group by options here as well. So campaign we just saw, organization I think makes sense. That's the store level. Parent campaign, if you're using campaign inheritance, this will allow you to manage the attempts, manage the queue order across all of your campaigns at the inheritance level. So from your parent campaign, you can adjust all of those settings for the children campaigns. Campaign type. So this is usually our inbound or outbound, our sales or service, revenue, non-revenue. You can manage all of your campaigns by campaign type. And then by communication queue group. So for this one, think about the communication center when your team is logging in. If you have their queues grouped, maybe by team, maybe by store, you can manage your campaigns by those groups as well, just by simply clicking on these boxes. Questions, Jake?
Not yet. I do have a couple for the end, but you can keep going.
Okay. No, I mean, I guess I want to point out we have documentation for you guys. There's additional settings that you can configure here. I will not have time to show everyone all of the different filter options, but good news, we have documentation early for this one. So, we have that you guys can start reviewing even before the page is live. I would recommend, I mean, like I always do, if you guys have questions or if you say, oh my gosh, I spend, 15 minutes every day trying to organize my campaigns, please meet with us. Please grab your coach and they'll help you strategize. There might be a way to cut down your time spent there. But no, I mean, the big things that I wanted to call out, you can group by different things here. I think that'll be the big time saver. You can manipulate this screen by clicking on these settings icons. You can add columns, if there's more that you want to see here. So you can customize your view a little bit. And then obviously what we showed earlier, which is within the campaign, there's some additional visibility, some new options, even in this deep dive view as well.
So I know you said we can look ahead at the documentation. When is it being pushed?
This will go live next week on Tuesday. So we're going to roll it out late Monday night when everyone's asleep in bed. But that documentation is available now.
Awesome. Well, great. Thanks, Liza. We are pushing the time here, but with this being a big, important screen, we'll hold on for a couple of questions. We had one. I know you had mentioned, the older screen, might have taken a second to load. Is this new screen going to be quicker?
Yes. So you even saw, and that wasn't scripted. The old screen takes a second to load. This new screen is, what does Sam always say? Lightning fast. So yes.
Well, good. And are you able to look at eligible to dial?
Yes. So one of our options here, I think we call it, it says, there we go. Show eligible to dial. So think of that. That's your ready customers when you're looking in the communication center, when you're looking at your queue selection. Your ready column is your eligible to dial here. Yep.
Mhm. Will we be able to purge? I know you said you can purge the folks from the campaigns that apply to email and text campaigns as well.
Let's see. I haven't tested with that. Looks like yes. Yep, that's great news. Wow. Super.
Perfect. We have quite a few coming in. We'll get to one more. Um, and and then we'll need to get with you individually. Um, are you are you able to set the priority level to stay per user on the screen?
Priority level to stay per user.
Not quite
No.
sure. Um,
So you can search by priority here. Priority is set at the campaign level. And I would say as far as editing priority, um, you know, that I would recommend that you use the priority management screen, which is another one back on that left-hand menu. I can show it really fast here. So under management, priority management is where I would steer you for any priority settings. The queue order is something that you can configure here, and that's that, attempt order and the added order. But those are all at the campaign level, not at the specific agent level.
okay. Are you able to, will there be any chance to change the priority from the campaign attempt management in the future? Um, I mean, potentially, we're always, obviously, that's not what we're doing here today. But, we're always looking for feedback and such. But we're very, very glad to see you're all very excited about this screen. Um, let's see. Um, I think that's, can you use the settings to make it stay on the priority level that you choose? I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, they bring up a good point though. I don't know if this is what they're asking, but maybe is that they saw this on my screen and they were like, hey, what does that mean? You can save your search options. So where I think this will come in handy, we have some teams where, in their one Volley instance, they've got sales and service. If I manage the sales teams, I do not care about seeing service. So every time in the old screen, maybe I'm coming in and I'm searching specifically for sales. So good news here, you can save your search options. I believe this is on by default. So whatever settings you filter by, Volley will remember. And that's, you can refresh your screen, you log out back in, it will remember what your preferred kind of filters are. So if that's what they meant, then yes.
They replied again and said, yes, yes, Liza, you nailed it. So,
Whew.
well, good. Um, we do have a lot of other exciting things coming out in this deploy as well. Um, Liza, you want to run through just the highlights real quick of the couple other things to look forward to?
Yeah, so I guess the one that you guys will see, if you are a manager who logs into Volley, you maybe have never noticed it, but you actually have a chat bubble up here that you can use to internally chat with other people in Volley. That has not been available to reps in the communication center. We're adding it to the communication center. So I don't know what's in here. If I open this, you might see some really old chats. I haven't used it in a minute, but this same kind of chat bubble will be available. I think I can show it here. Uh, Maybe not. I don't know if I have to be in the queue, but agent to agent chat will be available. So look for a bubble similar to this. I think we're working on documentation for that one as well that we might have ready before Tuesday. Um, Other things that will work on rolling out with your team. Some of this is, you know, kind of more back end kind of functionality, but there's some updates that we can build into your dispositions. A lot of people have the example that I'll use is if you track disposition per advisor and you maybe have 20 different dispositions, um, status check Liza, status check Jake, status check whoever. We have an option now that will allow us to condense those dispositions, that we can roll them up into one disposition with a drop down for all of those different advisors. My team will help you guys set that up. but that'll be exciting too. I think just reducing the number of dispositions that reps have to sort through. So a few good things coming.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us for the session of the Volley 21 today. It's been 21 minutes. Really appreciate you all. Reach out to your CS rep if you have any questions, and we'll be sure to get with all of you and make sure that all any questions you may have will be answered. So thank you all very, very much. Please reach out to Liza, myself, or your CS rep if you have any questions, and we hope that you have a fantastic day.